Welcome to MetroCasting. I'm Doug Farley. Over the centuries, one of life's greatest joys has been when the circus comes to town. And so it was last summer when a traveling circus made its way into the MetroCast Channel 10 viewing area. We stopped by and found an underlying passion for performing, life, and travel. The circus. It conjures up images of lion tamers, trapeze artists, clowns, animals, and cotton candy, among other things. But it hasn't always been a source of entertainment as we have come to know it in recent generations. Dating all the way back to the early Greeks and Romans, who created the Circus Maximus to hold chariot races and other forms of entertainment, the word circus comes from the Greek word kirkos, or circle or ring, which, as you may know, is where all the circus action takes place. It's also defined as a large public entertainment with a troupe of performers. Through the centuries, circus performers have gone from open-air theatrics to being under a gigantic tent or big top, which houses a performance ring and seats for the audience. And the use of tents is what allowed the circus to become mobile and to reach cities and towns far and wide. Today, you can see the circus in a number of venues, including at a large arena, or you can still catch a show in the traditional way, under the big top in a town or village near you. And last summer, for instance, Berwick played host to the Lewis and Clark Traveling Circus out of South Carolina. The owners, artists, and roustabouts, those workers who helped set up and take down the tent and do other odd jobs around the circus grounds, were gracious enough to talk with us about life on the road and living and working with a modern-day circus.
Well, I got into it at an early age. I started working around circuses and carnivals when I was about 12 years old.
And what were you doing at 12?
Well, I worked for a concessionaire that had ball games, sold souvenirs at ball games and stuff, traveled around like that. Then I got into, a little later, I got into doing that myself. And then I got into the carnival business and was in the carnival business for quite a while. And then later on, got into the circus business.
I was a dancer in New York. I started doing trapeze for fun in 1985, made an act in 87, ran away and joined the circus. Ta-da!
Well, it's 32 years. I've been doing this for 32 years.
Why have you been doing this for 32 years? What happened to you to make you do this for 32 years?
Well, I was 1976 New York State champion for gymnastics in high school. Went on to college, I was going to be a gym teacher, and after 2 years of school, my father, who is a Rotarian in New York, that's where I went to high school and college there in Long Island, New York, my dad, his Rotary sponsored the circus that came to town, and it was sponsored, the show was right at my college, the State University of Farmingdale, New York. They came, I went to the show, talked to the owner, they were looking for acrobats for a summer job. I took a summer job with the show, and 32 years later, I have not stopped. And it's been a fantastic life.
I'm a sixth generation circus performer, and so everything kind of came natural to me. It just, since I could walk, I was 5 years old the first time I performed.
You're 19 now. Do you see yourself doing this forever?
Yeah, I do. I mean, this is what I know. This is my life.
First started performing at 4 years old with my parents.
So since you were 4, you've been working.
We used to do the seesaw at the park, you know, the teeter board. It's like a seesaw, and handstands and a juggling act. And then once I got married, my husband did flying trapeze. And then now we're on our own, just me and my husband, and then our kids. And all my kids perform in the circus. I have 4 kids. They all perform. They all do different aerial, you know, like acrobatic stuff and aerial. And my husband's a clown. So it's a whole family.
That word family keeps coming up when I'm talking to people. Talk to me about the family of the circus.
Well, it's on my dad's side. My dad's side was the first one in the circus. He's from Europe. But on my mom's side, it came from my grandfather. But my grandfather first started out as a rodeo clown, and then went to the circus being a clown, and then started performing in acts. And he did animal acts, high acts, you know, trapeze things. And my mom's done, I have all my aunts were in the circus, all my cousins.
Well, it's kind of hard to say. It's showman part. You look around the Midway here and you see the kids that have traveled with this show. Like the Ayala family, for instance. Most of their kids, I remember when I first met the oldest, he was probably about 10 years old. What, 20 now? So, and then I've seen all their kids practically grow up. Little Brandon there was a baby. It's a family thing. There's a lot of things that get into your blood, you know, but there's a togetherness out here too. One big family. Everybody's got their separate families, but then you're one big family.
Talk to me a little bit about circus life in general. Over the years, you've heard about running away to the circus and doing different things. What is life on the road like for you?
Well, we open up in the middle of March every year, and we travel east of the Mississippi. We've hit all the states east of the Mississippi and some few beyond that. And we travel until mid-November, going from town to town, playing one-day spots and two-day spots. We have what is called a mud show. There's only maybe 3 or 4 mud shows left in the United States. That's a show that's in a tent and moves on a daily basis. Sets up in the rain, mud, anything. Nothing stops us. We set up no matter what the weather is, and we move on. We set up in a lot of mud. That's where the name comes from.
That can be a bit of a grind, don't you think?
Well, it can be a grind, but it's not as bad as it seems.
It's pretty intense. At about 4 o'clock, I start getting ready, and I go till 10 nonstop. Action-packed.
This is a great show because here, I mean, I can be on like they have the shrine circuses and stuff, and I could be parked 200 feet away from the building, and you have to take all your stuff and you have to come in for the show. Here, every day I'm backstage to the circus. I mean, I'm no more than 50 feet away from the circus entrance every day. So when I pull on a lot, I locate my truck and trailer. Back door comes down, trampoline goes in, chairs go in. I've got my water and electric hookup. I'm all self-contained.
So you come along, here comes the Lewis and Clark Circus. You not only do trapeze, but you also wind up as the ringmaster. How's that happen?
Well, I've always liked to do that sort of thing. Whenever somebody couldn't make an announcement, I would always grab the mic and say, ladies and gentlemen, boys and germs. And I said this year, they asked me to come and join the show, and I said I'd like to be the ringmaster. So then I started announcing, and I designed the show so I can do my acts and announce.
How much fun is this for you?
It's really just something that we do. We enjoy doing it. It's different from day to day, and but it's a job too. You know, it's a way to make a living, and it's a lot of hard work. But it's not as boring as 9 to 5 every day.
Are you hired by communities? Do you just look for places and to go? How does that work?
Well, we plan which way we're going to go every year. We have quite a few repeat dates that are good that we go to each year, and then we have other dates that we go like every other year.
Bob, how does this particular Lewis and Clark Circus differ from the circuses of, say, 50 years ago, maybe 70 years ago?
Older circuses years ago were bigger, much bigger, and a lot of them moved on trains and were really huge. But today, a train show would be hard to move on rails because of all the scheduling and rules and regulations. It would be very hard to do that anymore. But in the older days, circuses were bigger and attracted more people. And because if you pull a huge circus into town in the morning, and then everybody knows about it by noon. But today, marketing a circus is harder, and that's why we go into the smaller towns, and it's just a different ball game. That's why there are a lot less tent shows anymore. Also, we have a lot of competition with other events. There's a lot of things for people to do nowadays, so we have to work harder to get people to come out.
When I was younger, my family used to go on vacation, and we'd go to places like the Steel Pier in Atlantic City, and it was this big family mecca. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but the Steel Pier Atlantic City years ago was, for one price, you would see a movie. You'd get the ballroom, you got the diving horse show, the circus there, Mr. Peanut, you get the Tony Grant Stars of Tomorrow show, the Funhouse, everything wrapped in one. And they used to have what's called the Barney Cipriani High Diving Show. And I used to watch this show, and then when they were done, I used to follow the divers to their dressing rooms and, like, you know, because I was a young guy trying to do handstands at the time, 10 years old, and these divers diving 30 feet high, 60 feet high dives, and it was just amazing to me. So watching these guys, I used to want to be like them. So I never knew that 10 years later I'd be performing in the circus, and it was just, in 30 years, I've done at least 10 different acts on my own. And now, I mean, I started when I was 20 years old. I'm 52 in July. Probably one of the oldest acrobats still on the road today. And I've done daredevil acts. I did the big high daredevil breakaway sway pole at Walt Disney World, Epcot Center. I've been to Japan with it. I've done the Wheel of Death, Canada, Mexico. I've done so many acts. And now, my bread and butter right now, I do a comedy trampoline act, and I do a hand balancing act where I stack chairs on a table, go up about 20 feet, do a handstand on top, and that's my bread and butter for now. In my older age, we leave the daredevil acts to the young guys. You know, I got through it unscathed. Look at me now, and I'm still going strong.
I love the spangles and the glamour about it. Working out there, you know, the people, you know, when you go out there and you know that they like you, they like your act, and you go out there and you work, you do a nice job for them, and they enjoy it. And I really like that, you know, the people go home and they take apart, you know, they go home and they have a memory that they're gonna have forever. They spend with their family, you know. So I like being a part of that. I like playing a role.
My favorite thing is the fresh air. You're outside. I mean, that's really lovely. If you ever have had to have a job where you're inside a lot, there's nothing like experiencing the weather. Traveling is good. Performing is just awesome. Performing for people and making them happy, improving people's lives by a performance. Coming and making a circus out of a field.
Tell me about your act real quick. What do you do?
I do two acts. One is single trapeze. It's a big swing, and I do some static, still, posy, balletic strength poses. I swing and do some scary things, and my finish is I spin by my teeth. It's called Iron Jaw, and it is legendary. The other act I do is an aerial fabric act, kind of Circus So Whatty, that whatever that circus is, and it's some fabric. I climb up it. It's filled with drops, and it's very muscular, and it's a big workout.
For my thing, the favorite part of circus is the families, and it's a G-rated show. You can still get G-rated entertainment in the circus, and to be able to touch the children, you know, be right here in front of the children. It's just nothing but a joy. It's been so much fun. I just, you know, I'm the son of a banker who wishes he was the circus performer.
Being in the ring, you know, meeting so many different people and traveling. I mean, some people say, oh, you travel every day, but it doesn't really bother me, and I like to travel, and I like to go see stuff. Everywhere we go, we try to see whatever, you know, sightseeing things there can be, or wherever to go that you can go. You know, I try to take the kids everywhere so that, you know, I mean, they work every day, so that, you know, it's hard for them to be like normal kids. You know, they do homeschool, but, you know, it's not like they always have their friends. So I always try to take them to whatever park or sightseeing or historical, anything like that. So, I mean, you know, you grew up being in the circus, so it's normal for you to be like, you know, traveling and be on the road, and that's all I know. And I've worked in town on a few jobs, and I don't last too long. 9 to 5 is not for me. It's hard, but I don't know, I wouldn't give up the circus for nothing. I love it.
Modern day circus life through the words of the people who live it each and every day. The Lewis and Clark Circus is currently booking for its 2011 season. You can log onto their website for information and to see if they're appearing anywhere near you in the near future.